This is World of Info coming live from Radio Cairo Studio 3. My name is Dr. Amr Mabrouk. Dua Muhammad is at the controls. And today we have a very special distinguished guest coming to our studio here in Radio Cairo in Maspero, and we're very proud that he had the time to come to us once more to talk about his beautiful country and the fraternity and the friendship that we have between Egypt and his country. We are welcoming today His Excellency Ambassador Cong, Ambassador of Vietnam in Cairo. His Excellency was the ambassador for his country in Romania, Sweden and Poland, and we are very proud to have such a distinguished and a very experienced ambassador to serve his country and to serve the relations, the strong relations that goes back between Egypt and Vietnam for quite a long time. Sir, thank you very much for taking the time and effort to come to our program in person in Radio Cairo. It's a great honor and pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for you give me the chance to talk about our country to the people of Egypt and friend in the world.
And of course, we'll just give a small introduction about Vietnam as a country, which is the easternmost country in the Southeast Asian Indo-Chinese Peninsula. With an estimated 95.5 million inhabitants, Vietnam shares its land borders with China to the north, Laos and Cambodia to the west, and it shares its maritime borders with Thailand through the Gulf of Thailand and the Philippines, Indonesia and Malaysia through the South China Sea. So this is a very complicated geography, and we'll start where we ended last time in our interview, because we always want to give our listeners an information which is definitely proved every day and every year. Countries are the product of their geography, and geography affects usually the fate of countries. So how far this complicated geography affected Vietnam, sir?
Oh, that's exactly. You give a very interesting question, and I think the Vietnams have very important position in the Southeast Asia. We can call it the heart of the Southeast Asia, because it's in the northern part we have the border with China, and we have the border with Laos, Cambodia, and other country, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia on the sea. So. That is very, very important position, because it's most of the thing shipment or transportation by sea from the north to the south is going on that way. 90% of the goods in the world transported by the sea, but in this area 50% of the goods already transferred on this way. So that's very important role in the sea roads to the north to the south of the world. And the other thing is we also have the border with China, a very big country, and we have the border with the sea with some other countries. So that is we have a chance to increasing the economy by the sea, and of course we also have the place to transfer to connecting with the some other country in the north, like Korea, Japan, to the other country in the south, like Australia and New Zealand, and to Far East, to the India, Pacific country, and the goods go through this way and go to Europe. So that is very important.
And this geographic links and this complicated situation has, of course, affected Vietnam sometimes passively, because its important position have made it an important hub or a station for the imperialism, if we may use the expression. So in the French occupation of Vietnam, and after that, after the French left, the Americans, under the effect of the fear from communism, started to say if Vietnam falls in the hand of communism, then there will be a domino effect, like all the countries in the region will become communist, and this affected the war. And of course it was a long, devastating war that led in the end between the Union and the North and the South in one government that has capital is in Hanoi. But when we talk about this important period, we shouldn't, the Vietnamese people of today, they don't linger in the past, they live for the future. And the enemies of yesterday are now friends and partners in the business. Yes. And I find that very thrilling. Is this because of the type of the personality of the Vietnamese people, or is it just pragmatism?
I think that's in our country we have a very important sentence for everyone. Is we never forget the past, but we put aside the past and looking for the future. And we try to do our best to have the friend with all other countries in the world. Even the country was like the French, like the American. We have the war with them. But now they become the trusted partnership with Vietnam.
Yes, and the President of the United States, I think it was President Obama, who came and paid a visit to Vietnam, and this was a historical visit. And some Navy ships, Vietnamese Navy, American Navy ships come even having sort of cooperative maneuvers in the sea, of search and rescue maneuvers. So this is very delicate, and yet you were able to do that. So when we look at this type of effect, that we keep the history aside, but we never forget it, has even led to the fact that nowadays, which is very attractive to my mind, is that there are a lot of educational institutes that belong to the French universities and American universities that have branches in Vietnam. You find that a bit awkward, right?
It's good, because now you see that all the Vietnam people are hardworking and very clever. And we in the education field, we send all of the students abroad to, even in America now, and in Japan, Korea, even in China. And we send all of them to get experience from other countries in the world. And they come back. They will have the experience to have the economic of Vietnam. So we keep sending the people, even not for students. Even we send the engineer, the skill engineer, and also we can send also the professors go out to get experience from other countries.
In 1975, there was a sort like an exodus of a lot of people from South Vietnam who thought that they will not have a chance to live in Vietnam after the unification. And some of them, for economic reasons, started flowing to the sea. And there was the big problem in the early 80s and the late 70s, which called the boat people, and most of them were Vietnamese. And Vietnam was passing into a very dangerous period of lack of economic reform, and tuberculosis, and even famine was going and rising. And suddenly the Vietnamese government made a stop to reevaluate the experiment and started the economic reform in 1986. So when we talk about this period, I find it a very important, stimulating, that with the greater reform and the improvement of the economic condition, you started welcoming back the people who went in the exodus, if we use the expression of the exodus. Maybe 2 or 3 millions Vietnamese are living Americans who are the children and the grandchildren of the people who left in 1975. You're giving them the chance to come back, and you're welcoming them if they want to make any partnership or economic businesses in Vietnam, right, sir?
Yes, sure. We have priority policy for the Vietnamese overseas in the world. Every country, not
just in the States.
In America. And you see that for the economy, after 1986, we carry out the renewal policy, and we call all of the Vietnamese overseas to contribution to the Vietnamese economy, and we give the right, some of the priority for them, like the tax, like the school for children, and give it with the salary is good at a good condition. So that's why I think that is exactly the policy we issued on after 1986. Many people from abroad just come back to Vietnam because they think that they have a chance to work in Vietnam. They can get good salary, living is the good condition, and the children can go to school. Everything, as you mentioned, that we opened the American school, Germany school, French school, and so they think that it's good opportunity for doing business in Vietnam. So after the war, they don't know exactly what is the future going. So they left. But now they can see that is the good place for them to do business, to living, and they come back. Now we have more than nearly 2 million people living in America, but now they come back. And even in Ho Chi Minh City right now, in Hanoi, or in some of the provinces in Vietnam, you can see a lot of Americans are now working in the company in Vietnam.
Yes. I mean, the President of the United States came and paid you a visit, and this was not just, some people thought that this was a remorse visit, but actually it was an economic visit. He was establishing economic ties, and this was the interest of Obama at that time, and I mean the administration that followed Obama and Mr. Biden as well. All this, they are into business and in economic partnership with Vietnam as one of the great factories, building and making textile and making a lot of shoes and t-shirts and things like that are in, and also not only that but also electronic business and industries. So before we go to Covet and go to today, Vietnam, we'll talk about the glory of, for example, the tourism industry. You have raised your income from tourism regularly, and your target was very ambitious, that in 2020 you were aiming to get 20 million tourists, which is a huge number. So tell us, what are the tourist attraction in tourism attraction? What makes people travel all the way to Vietnam? What's different than the other Southeastern or South Indian, Indochina different that brings the people to Vietnam?
You see that one of the main incomes for the economic of Vietnam is for tourist field. As you mentioned, that in 2020 we nearly 2 million people visit per year. But today I can say that we are sorry to talk about the number of the people coming to Vietnam, because with the COVID times, so we not allow the tourists right now, up to date. Even I stay in front of you now, we are not open for the tourists. So we call in Vietnam, we call the non-smoke economy. Now we face difficulty with COVID time.
Yes.
And we suppose to will be open again at the beginning of next year. So I hope that we have 2 more days coming to next year. We look with the hopefully with the good future and with bright sky, and the people can go to Vietnam. But,
so if I may ask you, what makes the people come to Vietnam? You tell us about, it's not just beaches, it's not just the forest, it's not just the memorabilia of the Vietnamese-American War, but it is something else. What, the food, is it? Or I mean, what's the combination of attraction? Tell us about the attraction that makes people come to Vietnam.
Why the people prefer the destination to our country than the other country in the area?
Yes, exactly.
Because you see that we have long influenced country from the northern, like from China, and the country is mixed from Vietnam and China a little bit, and we have on the east, on the west, we have influence from India. And so that's why the country is a little bit similar to India. So
Indochina, that's good.
But in the southern past, we have more influence because we have a long time under the war with America. So the country was a little bit with the America, with the Western culture. So in Vietnam, we have the mixed country from this northern part to southern part. So there's a lot of more even you can find out some restaurant, the food like in Egypt. That the people in the Middle East and in Africa can go to Vietnam, easy to find the food and to enjoy with the life. This is similar. But of course, we have the very good beach like in Egypt. We have the good beach from the southern part to northern part. We have more than 3,200 kilometers of the sea.
Yes.
So that we have a chance to enjoy with the sea. But the other thing you can enjoy with the minority people. The culture is different. You can enjoy with the people in the mountain, with the food in the jungle, and many places is quite different with the other countries. So I think the people come to Vietnam find apart from the nice view with the sea, with the mountain, but the people of Vietnam very
hospitable.
Yeah, hospitable.
And there is a lot of hospitality and, of course, safety for the tourists, right? And so it's a very safe country as regards the tourism, right?
Yes.
So now come year the 2020 and 2021 and now 2022. And we have a COVID that looks to be as if it is here to stay. In the middle of 2021, we had the hope and aspirations that the vaccination, once it started, things are going to get much better. Yes. And in last March, we saw that everything will come to an end. Now we found ourselves going for a third dose of a vaccination. And a country whose huge population of Vietnam is up till now blocking its gates for people to come in or to get out. So tell us the Vietnamese experience with COVID nowadays.
But nowadays, up to date, the people influx with COVID is a little bit higher than some months ago. With the new case, and of course we now still control it because we will not block all the border, but we still have the separate with the province. Like some of the province can be received the people come to visit, but in the buckets visit. Like the one tour visit, not separate, not freely to go anywhere. Like in Phu Quoc in Iceland and some of the heritage of Vietnam, the people can visit. But should be like some other country, you need to vaccinate it, you have PCR test, and you should be isolated for 3 days. Yeah. So the people still can go to Vietnam by working or by doing business. But for the tourists, we only open for the group of the tourists in one destination or
destination.
Yes, destination. So that we still control with the COVID, and we can thinking about because we control COVID, we need to improve economy.
How much percentage of the population has been vaccinated now?
For the people over 18, 100%. Take the vaccinated.
100%.
100%.
So you're talking about 95 million people who have been vaccinated, the 2 doses, right?
Yes.
And you're starting the 3rd dose soon?
We are going to do. Now we're going to do with the children. From 12 up to 12.
And yet, after all this vaccination, what is the incidence of COVID infection in Vietnam?
Now we don't have any case from the data, the old one, and we try to separate with the people coming to Vietnam to try to avoid with the new case in.
So the percentage of people affected with COVID is on the decline going on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, concerning the agriculture sector of Vietnam, Vietnam in 1986, before 1986, was on the verge of a famine, and rice, which is one of the most important commodities for the Vietnamese people, like most of the Asians, was a rare commodity.
Yes.
Nowadays, Vietnam is the second country exporting rice after the United States of America.
Yes, exactly.
And the United States of America can be number one because rice is not an important commodity for the Americans as much as it is important for Vietnam. How was this possible in a country that the people are rice eaters, that you become an exporters of rice, number 2 on the whole world, and at the same time, what are the challenges of this problem of the rice of the problem of COVID with agriculture?
Yeah. Now the number of the rice we cannot export like before because of COVID time. But we try to do. But now you see that in this year we still have the top second of the country to export rice. Still in 2021.
Yes.
The same. How we can do it after the war? We have nothing in hand. in agriculture field.
Yes.
But we have the land, we have the water, and we have the working hard people, and the first thing we can do, the government give the land for the people, and they can plant by themselves. And then after that, we collect in the collective group, and they build up for export, right? And of course, the technical is very important. We send the people to learn how to plant rice in India, in China, in some of the very good planting with rice.
Yes.
Yeah. So that we year by year, and the number of the rice we export is increased.
And it is, of course, not only that. I mean, you are the world's largest producer of cashew nuts with 1/3 global share, and the largest producer of black pepper, right?
Yes, yes.
And of course, coffee. You're the second largest exporter of coffee. Every time people would ask about coffee, they would say Brazil, Brazil. But you are occupying the second place in the exporting of coffee. These are very important commodities. When we talk about coffee, this is real business. And when we talk about black pepper, I mean, wars were raised about the spices and black pepper in the mid-century, in the medieval centuries. So, and the control of the Silk Road. So when we talk about that, so not only you're planting rice, but you're also directing the farmers to work on coffee and cashews and black pepper, right?
Yes, exactly. You can see that a lot of the cashew nut and people from Vietnam are now in the Egypt market.
Yes. Very good quality and cheaper prices than it used to be before, right?
Yes.
And I think it's very healthy as well for the hearts. So how about the coffee? I mean, was it common to plant coffee in Vietnam, or it's a new agricultural product?
It's one of very important in agriculture fields, the planting coffee. We have the one of the area highland in Vietnam planting coffee, and most of the raw material we export to other country. And you can easily, like sometimes you see that Brazilian coffee or Italian coffee, but the raw materials is import from Vietnam, and they make it even like that. So But,
so the Vietnamese are not just coffee drinkers, not habitual coffee drinkers. They are more into tea, or what?
We have the habit to drink coffee, but not much as the European people and Latin American people.
Yes.
But so that's why the coffee Vietnam is very also famous, but not like other countries. So export the raw material, and the other country can do like the
and so they are more or less, the Vietnamese are more or less tea drinkers than coffee.
It's not exactly the tea and coffee drinker. It's not much like Europe people, or like in Egypt. You see people drink coffee every morning,
and they drink a lot of tea. Yes. So you're still listening to the World of Info, and we're coming live from Studio 3 with His Excellency Ambassador Cong, Ambassador of Vietnam in Cairo. And my name is Dr. Amr Mabrouk. Dua Muhammad is at the control. Stay tuned with us to more about Vietnam and about the Vietnamese experience. So we're still listening to the World of Info, coming live from Studio 3 in FM 95.4 from the capital, Cairo. And we're having His Excellency Ambassador Cong, the Ambassador of Vietnam to Egypt. And we would like to talk about an important point. During the war in the 60s and the 70s, North Vietnam was completely under bombardment. And this definitely has interrupted the educational programs of children. And the teens and the youngsters were forced, unfortunately because of the war, to get involved into the war, become part of the army, which is of course self-explanatory, and therefore lose a big chance of education. So to have an educational reform and to combat illiteracy, this is a heroic job that was on the tasks of, or on the shoulders of the government at that period of time. I mean, come 1975, and you'll find that most of the young people of Vietnam lacking the proper education, and if they are having education, that was completely basic, as they are enrolled in the army at the age of 18, and definitely they just, their work or their education was emphasized on the military side. So how you did this reform of education and to reach now to have international educational institutes coming to Vietnam? How to solve the problem first?
Yes, exactly. We have facing many difficulties with the education sector. After the war, I think you see that all the people are going involved to the war, and lack of the information, and lack of the knowledge, and lack of the thing for education. So, but after 1986, after the reform policy, we have some changing. The big one is now we issue one of the law to give the right for everybody to have the right to go to school.
Yes. So there is forced education years. Till what age, sir?
You see that at that time, even from the younger one and the old one can go to school. She not start from the beginning, even to start with learning how to write, because after the war they don't know anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that the government give the right for all of the governor, all of the provinces, give the right for people to go to school and should go to school, must go to school to learn, even young or old. Try to learn the language, how to write, and slowly we give the right for the young children without fee go to school. Even up to date, if you go to school, the government will pay for this. And the children can have a right to go to school. So that all the people.
So today the education, the compulsory age of education, for example, in the United States, it's almost till the finishing of high school.
Yeah.
What's the compulsory free education for the children in Vietnam? Till high school or?
From until high school, we have free
education
for the children.
Yes.
But of course, we face difficulty. But the government try to do this for the people to have the right to learn.
But do you have people who are dropouts or escaping from education net? Have you suffered from such a problem?
No, I don't think that all the people are willing to go and willing to learn.
Find a place under the sun.
Yes. And the other thing, the government will send with the scholarship for the people to go outside. Like in Egypt, we have the Vietnam and Egypt have signed the agreement to exchange scholarship for the student and even for the professors. So each year we have 20 students come here to learn Arabic and to learn other thing and then come back.
I've noticed that one of your assistants is a fluent speaker of Arabic, right?
But I speak not good. But when I'm here, we have some people who speak very good Arabic.
Yes.
Yeah. Other people.
So you found that the education is the key to success, right?
Yes, exactly. Our former president, late President Ho Chi Minh, say that the most important thing for the people is give it the right to study.
A lot of people don't know this information which I'm going to say about President Ho Chi Minh, or the great leader of Vietnam, that he had a state-of-art education in Paris in the early 1918, especially during World War I, and he also tried to reach the Versailles meetings, and in order to hope to have a place or a reception from President Woodrow Wilson in order to help Vietnam to get its independence. So the man was highly educated. Even on his way back to Vietnam, he passed by Cairo and had an audience with some Egyptian politicians, right?
Yes, exactly. He's free time to Egypt.
Yes, and even met Saad Zaghloul. So when we talk about Ho Chi Minh, we talk about a man who cared very much about education, right?
Yeah.
Because he himself has received a refined education. Yeah. And if he didn't receive this education properly in France or in Paris, he would have not been the polished leader that he was. So when we talk about education, we'll ask the question of when did this foreign institutes, education institutes, start coming to Vietnam? The Americans, the French, the German. When did they come to Vietnam?
after the 1986,
Yes.
we have the renewal policy open for any kind of the foreign investment to invest in Vietnam. And in 2000, from the beginning 2000, most of the countries from Europe invested in education sector in Vietnam. They opened the university in Vietnam. Because that is good time. But the people in Vietnam want to go to school, want to speak English, want to speak French, want to speak German. So that's why the university there open. And we can give also for the priority, some of the priority for the investor open the university in Vietnam. Yeah, for the lower tax with the land, and even for the salary for the people working in that field. So that.
And these foreign universities are in Saigon or in Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi or where?
Both in Ho Chi Minh City, both in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, and in Hanoi. We still have. But you see that normally now the people in Vietnam are very proud that they can speak both language, French and English.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is the most spoken language, second language after Vietnamese? Is it English or French?
Now the young generation speak English.
English,
Yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
And the dialect is good.
Yes.
Very
We think that most you speak English, you can go many places see the world, right?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll have a break now because we want to get to a very important subject, which is why you are here, sir, in Cairo, serving as the ambassador of Vietnam, and this is the Egyptian-Vietnamese relations. It's the thing that is keeping you busy 24/7, the thing that you are doing because you are building on top of a strong friendship, and you are following a lot of your predecessors who have really helped the relation between Egypt and Vietnam to thrive through the years. And with a visit of our President Sisi 3 years back to Vietnam, we have to talk about that in depth, but after the break with His Excellency Ambassador Cong, Ambassador of Vietnam to Cairo. So don't make my brown eyes blue. That's interesting for Crystal Gale. So we're still listening to His Excellency Ambassador of Vietnam, Ambassador Cong in Cairo, and we talked about education, we talked about the reform, economic reform, and we talked about the hard days of Covet and how the tourist industry is still suffering and starting to allow some tourists coming into packages or into groups of tourists coming into a designated area, not leaving area from one area to another, to prevent the country from passing under the chaos of the pandemic. So we'll talk about the Egyptian-Vietnamese relations. Egypt, during Nasser's time, gave a lot of support to Vietnam. President or the leader, the great leader Ho Chi Minh, had a great admiration to Saad Zardoul. He tried to find rules of engagement in the after World War I in order to find a place for Vietnam under the sun, which of course failed due to whether it was intentionally or due to the succumbing of President Woodrow Wilson to illness. Well, when we talk about that, we find Egypt is in the back of the minds of the Vietnamese politicians since very long time. And the same goes for Egypt. For Egypt, suffering in the 60s from the attrition war and from the 1967 war and through to 1973, always looked highly to the performance of the Vietnamese and to the resilience of the Vietnamese people. Now we are looking also with a great admiration to the resilience of the Vietnamese in improving their economic conditions. So tell us about the Egyptian-Vietnamese relation. The past, we have to start with, then the present, and the prospects for future. The past.
Yes, I'm very proud of the relation between Vietnam and Egypt.
Yes.
You know that the first thing I give you, that when we opened the relation between our country in 1963, before that we opened the commercial section in Egypt in 1956. Before. Yes. So that is Egypt play very important position in the area, and we have the long tradition of friendship between our country.
And I will just give a nota bene to our listeners that His Excellency is a non-resident ambassador in Sudan, South Sudan, Libya, Tunisia, and in Palestine, right, sir?
Yes.
And, of course, the current ambassador or the ambassador here in Cairo. So this gives the idea to the listeners of how important Egypt is to Vietnam, right?
Yes. I work as ambassador in Cairo. But of course I have non-resident to the other country, like you mentioned, total another 8 country in the area. But you know that because we have the relation we signed the diplomatic relation between two our countries in 1963, so very long time before. And our president already visited Egypt at least 3 times.
Yes.
To your nice country here, to pyramid and to the museum or something.
When was the when was the last time, sir, that your president came here?
The last time he visited here in the I think in 1956, 60, when we signed the agreement with France to stop the war.
Oh, 1954. That's Ho Chi Minh himself, right?
Yes.
He came and visited Egypt.
And visit Egypt.
Yes.
Yeah. So we get many support from your country and from your people.
Yes.
When at the war time, and even nowadays in the construction of our country, we still get the support from your country.
Yes.
So that's why your president visited Vietnam and our president visited 3 years ago.
So the president Sisi went to Vietnam and he wanted to study the case of Vietnam as a country that has passed from a lot of chaos to a very strongly reformed economic condition. What were the places that he showed very much interest in his visit, sir?
I think he had not much time in Vietnam, but your president visit Vietnam and to meet with the counterpart, our president, late president, and after in the visit we signed 20 agreements between two countries in many fields, in the economic, in culture, in the telecommunication, even from the education sector. Yeah, so most I have many opportunity to have the increase the cooperation between two our country, and that up to date the volume, commercial volume between Vietnam and Egypt more than 500 million US dollar, and we're looking for 1 billion in the coming year.
So the visit, there are, for you, I mean, under your shoulders, over your shoulders, there is 20 treaties that need to be materialized, right? 20 treaties that were signed by the highest authorities in both of our countries, the two presidents, and therefore you have a lot of things to do. I think that you're not sleeping by night.
Yes.
So tell us, what are the treaties that are more effective going into a very strong act, strong track, like what?
As I am the ambassador here in Egypt, I think that agriculture is one of the very, very important sector to cooperation between two countries. We have experience to plant rice. The people here also need rice.
Yes.
And you have long sea like in Vietnam.
Yes.
Like you have the Red Sea, like the Mediterranean Sea. In the field of the fishing processing production of the seafood, it's very important. But we have experience on that field because I saw that you have the farm, ship here around the world. So that is no country can.
So there is a cooperation in the fish farms business, right?
Yes.
Between
exactly.
Because the president decided to increase the amount of fish that are farmed every year, especially in North Sinai and the east of Port Said. So there is a cooperation in this field.
We already signed the memorandum between the two ministers already, and so we now we are very heavy duty is to implementation of this document.
Yes.
To how to get the results for the relation between two our countries.
And another important point, I think, is you are exporting a lot of good fish quality to Egypt, right?
Yes, you can see at the supermarket here. You can see the fish from Vietnam.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And beside the fish from Vietnam, we have the cashews that's coming.
Yes, yeah.
And are you exporting coffee as well or not?
No, we still export coffee. Coffee, we have the top 10 country export coffee right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what does Vietnam import from Egypt?
You are very famous with the material for textile, like cotton. I remember, yeah.
Yes.
So that is we import some from Egypt, but of course in another field we have some equipment for the oil exploration and gas exploration of the sea, from Egypt. Yes. And some of the skilled engineers of Egypt are working in Vietnam.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I met some people who are one of my patients, or a few of my patients, who worked even into English language teaching institutes in Vietnam as teachers. So this is brings us to an important subject. I mean, industry has a lot of challenges in Vietnam, and there are a lot of success stories. And of course, the road was difficult. When we talk about how Vietnam was able to change a bit the agricultural community into industrial community, what type of industries are you having in Vietnam?
In another field like the agriculture, we have the you see, we are very famous with the textile products and export to Egypt and all over many countries in the world. And of course, we have long sea, so seafood is one of the products we export not only in Egypt, in European and country and even American.
So you have a big fishing fleet, right?
Yes, exactly.
That goes on continuously.
Yeah.
Was it only fish or also including shrimps and
fish and shrimp?
Fish and shrimps, yes.
Yeah.
So we talked about the past relation between Egypt and Vietnam, and we talked about the present. What are your hopes and aspirations for the future?
I think we have the fundamental for the signing document between two countries already, but now how we implementation of this document go to in fact as capacity of the ambassador here in Egypt, I try to connect with the businessmen from Egypt and businessmen from Vietnam. But in 2021, we faced a little bit difficulty because the Covet time. The delegation both sides cannot visit each other, so the embassy should be the connecting between the two sides. And we still continue to push for the last two things, because we have the minister level consultation between our country, economic minister, and we are going to have it on 2022 on next year, and together with the Minister of Economy meeting, we will have a group of the businessmen to go to Egypt to see opportunity. Yeah.
So you are planning to have more cooperation in the field. Is there any chance for industries or Vietnamese businessmen to invest in Egypt?
You are very famous with the Suez Canal.
With the
Suez
Canal,
yes, very famous one. And long before, we have already the people are working there in the shipyard, in the shipyard area. So I think that is one of the thing we can have cooperation, because with logistic master between in Vietnam is very good right now, and you have the very important port in the northern parts of Egypt. So that is we try to arrange for the business to investment on the free economic zone in Alexandria.
So are there any Egyptian businessmen who are founding a sort of investment in Vietnam as well?
Yes, the number of the amount for the Egyptian people investment in Vietnam not much, around 200 or 300 million US dollar or something. Yeah, not much, but some are working in the electric
in the electronics.
Yes, electric area, because we are very famous with electric. You see that with the computer, with the handphone, smartphone, and with it's from Vietnam.
A lot of iPhones and things like that are made in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah.
So the prospect of the future in cooperation remains also the cultural cooperation between people. The people, as I said before, are speaking always or knowing always about the Vietnamese people, and they think about them in admiration. So what does the normal or the plain the man of or the normal people of Vietnam think about Egypt, and what are the information that they have about our country?
Yeah, I think that through the culture is for the people more easy to get closer.
Yes.
Yeah, for the people understanding the culture of each country, each people, they know each other, and for the relation is more closer and get easy to. In fact, for the other field, economy. So the first thing should be through the culture.
So the Vietnamese layman has some information about Egypt. He took that from the books or from history or from what?
You see, Egypt very famous with everyone in Vietnam know pyramids.
Yes.
In Egypt.
Yes.
And we know about the Nile River. So in long history, the Vietnam people already know about the Egypt.
So today, when we met the president of the Director General of the Egyptian Broadcasting Service, there is an agreement that we are going to try to improve and to work on it, is that by shipping programs from Egypt, radio and TV, to Vietnam, to give more information about Egypt to the Vietnamese people, and vice versa. So you work hard on that, right, sir?
Yes, we try to give the Egyptian people know how about the country of Vietnam, and another side we want the Vietnamese people know about more detail about the country of Egypt, so that the cooperation between our radio is very important for the people to knowing each other, the country of each side. I intended to bring one of the group, the actress for Vietnam, to perform in pyramids to show the country of Vietnam in pyramid or in Luxor, and for the people here knowing about Vietnam.
This will happen soon, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. We're thinking in 2022 we can do it.
That's lovely. So we leave this with the hope of further cooperation, with further improvement of our strong relation of friendship between Egyptians and the Vietnamese people. And we still are proud that of you, sir, for coming and sharing with us the information about Vietnam, a country that is dear to the hearts of the Egyptians and the whole world, a country that passed through a stage of metamorphosis to the better and to the best. We had in this beautiful afternoon, although it's a bit cold in Cairo, but yet we had a very warm conversation with His Excellency Ambassador Cong, Ambassador of Vietnam to Cairo. Sir, it was a great pleasure and honor to have you with us, and please promise us to come back again to Radio Cairo.
Sure. We have the right to looking for the better enhance the relation between two our countries in the future.
Definitely. This is World of Info coming live from Studio 3. My name is Dr. Amr Mabrouk. Dua Muhammad is at the control, and may I wish you a very happy new year, bringing us a lot of prosperity, peace, health and wealth, and time to enjoy. Stay tuned to Radio Cairo.